welcome to Diabetes Connections in the News. I'm Stacey Sims. Every other Friday, I bring you a short episode with the top diabetes stories and headlines happening now. In the News is brought to you by Edgepark. Simplify your diabetes journey with Edgepark. Our top story this week, the first ever generic GLP-1 medication will soon be available in the U.S. It's a generic of Victoza, originally approved by the FDA in 2010 for diabetes, and it's part of the same class of drugs that includes Ozempic and Mounjaro. Of course, currently a shortage of those drugs, so a lot of people are hoping that the arrival of a GLP-1 generic could provide some relief, but there are a couple of caveats here. This medication, liraglutide, is injected once daily versus weekly for the more popular medications, and many doctors say it doesn't seem to work as well for as many people as semaglutide, Ozempic, or tirzepatide, Mounjaro. No confirmation of the price yet. There are two other generic options being developed, could launch in December of this year, but patents for the newer medications won't expire until several years down the road. Lots of information from the ADA scientific sessions to bring you. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I will continue to share more information on social media, and I'll link up more wrap-up articles in the show notes for this episode. Sensonics plans to launch a one-year sensor in the U.S. in the fourth quarter of 2024. A 365-day Eversense CGM could be a game changer for the company. Their current 180-day sensor needs calibrating twice a day, something their CEO has said is a competitive disadvantage. The one-year CGM sensor needs to be calibrated once a week. Sensonics is in talks with insulin pump makers about integrating its CGM with their devices. No timeline yet on those agreements. If you take Ozempic or Wegovy, you may have a higher risk of developing a very rare form of blindness. This is very early on. The studies are not conclusive, and many doctors say it should not deter patients from using the medications to treat diabetes or obesity. The condition is a type of eye stroke that causes sudden, painless vision loss in one eye. The exact cause of it is not known. The condition can cause damage to the optic nerve. And for now, if you're taking semaglutide or considering that kind of treatment, you need to discuss the risk and benefits with your doctors, especially if you have other known optic nerve problems like glaucoma. We got some updates at ADA about the over-the-counter CGMs coming out later this year, the Dexcom Stelo and Abbott Lingo and Rio. Dexcom announced it plans a late August launch of Stelo. This is an over-the-counter CGM again, and you will order it from their website. It won't be physically in stores. Abbott is planning to sell its wellness-oriented Lingo device this summer, also through a website. The Lingo's been available in other countries for a while. It was recently okayed in the U.S. and is not meant for people with diabetes. The Libre Rio is designed for adults with type 2 who don't use insulin. No timing yet on that launch. Neither Abbott nor Dexcom have disclosed pricing for their upcoming products. Insulet is looking to expand the label for its Omnipod 5 pump for people with type 2 diabetes. It has filed with the FDA. Insulet presented study results at the ADA conference evaluating Omnipod 5 in people with type 2 who were taking basal insulin or multiple daily injections. The results showed, quote, substantial improvements in blood glucose outcomes and overall quality of life. Omnipod 5 is cleared in the U.S. for type 2. The FDA has not yet cleared any automated insulin delivery systems for people with type 2. Omnipod Go was cleared last year, but that doesn't connect to other devices. It's basically a basal-only insulin pump. And even though Omnipod 5 is not currently indicated for type 2, doctors do prescribe it for their patients since the pharmacy channel apparently doesn't distinguish between type 1 or type 2 patients. In the keynote address at that ADA conference, the FDA commissioner expressed concerns about the rising rates of diabetes in the U.S., saying revolutionary medications and technology for diabetes and weight loss continue to emerge, but the treatments are vastly underused. And he said they're basically failing people with type 2. Big problem, of course, is access. While most health insurance plans cover medical device and medications for diabetes, without insurance, costs add up very quickly. And studies have found that regardless of insurance status, about 26% of Americans have skipped or delayed treatment due to cost. Embecta making the case for its insulin patch pump for type 2 diabetes. They have already submitted for FDA clearance. This is a patch pump with a large insulin reservoir, holds up to 300 units. Embecta, better known for making pen needles and insulin syringes, submitted this device to the FDA in late 2023. This is a patch pump with a large insulin reservoir, holds up to 300 units. They say that their device can provide longer wear times and fewer disposable patches. Swiss technology maker Eversense demonstrated a new semi-reusable tubeless patch pump and glucose sensor in the same compact device. This is called the Naya Signature Patch Pump, and they say it can be worn for 5 days. The top of the device, where the Bluetooth connectivity and the mechanical parts that control the pump are, separates from the 300-unit reservoir, along with the adhesive used to attach the device to the body. The company says an AID system will manage the device controlled by a smartphone. No timeline on this. Eversense's simpler basal bolus patch pump, not connected, was submitted for FDA approval last year. Right back to the news in just a minute. But first, Diabetes Connections is brought to you by Edgepark. Managing diabetes doesn't need to get in the way of your passion, your social life, or your budget. Edgepark can help you simplify your diabetes journey so you can focus on other important things. Edgepark offers a wide array of continuous glucose monitors, such as the Dexcom G7, the Freestyle Libre 3, and more. Plus, Edgepark accepts most insurance plans and handles the paperwork. Go to diabetes-connections.com and click on the Edgepark logo to learn more. Back to the news now, and a new international consensus statement offers guidance on the care and monitoring of people who are at high risk for type 1. This is all about screening and testing for islet autoantibodies and what to do next. As you may know, type 1 diabetes is now classified in different stages based on autoantibodies and symptoms. This document was presented at the ADA Scientific Sessions and published simultaneously. The authors say this is not guidance around who to screen or when to screen. This is about what to do with the hundreds of thousands of people around the world who have already participated in screening. The recommendations also include when to start insulin and how to provide education and psychosocial support to individuals and family members of those given the early stage type 1 diagnosis. And finally, Roblox has added a diabetes option, complete with an insulin pen and a CGM. Roblox is a super popular online game that a lot of kids play. You can find the diabetes accessories in the Roblox marketplace. JDRF, now Breakthrough T1D, started a world in Roblox a couple of years ago as well, and you can find that under Breakthrough T1D. They have updated it. My kids were a little too old. We missed Roblox, but boy, would I have loved that option when Benny was little. That is it for In the News. Next week, I am traveling to the Friends for Life conference put on by children with diabetes. I'll be posting a little bit here and there on social media. I always think I'm going to post more than I do because it is such a busy conference, but I will do my best. On the Type 1 show next week, I'll be talking to my son. Benny finally sat down with me to talk about his first year at college. He finished his freshman year. You had a lot of questions, so we'll go through that. And if you're listening on Diabetes Connections Type 2, stay tuned for more episodes coming up with information and inspiration for the Type 2 community. And that is it for now. I'm Stacey Sims. I'll see you back here soon. Until then, be kind to yourself.
Diabetes Connections is a production of Stacey Sims Media. All rights reserved, all wrongs avenged.